How you doing, Joe?
Doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Are these for decoration?
Please, of course. I don't know if it's sparkling.
Still.
Sorry, I'm so Italian sometimes. Joe, I want to say, first of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for, Fidelity spearheading really the Fluxnova contribution. How about we start with sort of getting your take on the launch? What do you think?
It's super exciting. This is a first for us, being part of, a neutral foundation hosted open source project. I'm thrilled to be partnering with FINOS and the other co-founding companies. But, I think we've been at this for about a year with you all. And but as you mentioned, this project goes back much farther for us. This is our core automation platform. It's been built on open source. The roots go back to Activity, a project of 15 years ago.
Quite familiar with it.
And there have been many pivots in this space, so it's nice to be finally in a neutral, governed project that we can rely on going forward. So, we're super excited. It's been a great experience to date, and really looking forward to what's more to come.
Thank you. I mean, it's funny. I used to work for a company called Alfresco, who was very much close to Activity at that time. And it's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah, you mentioned the company. I can't mention it. My corporate comms tells me I can't mention the company. But when you mentioned when they took the pivot, we saw it as an opportunity to, really create a sustainable community with FINOS and companies, like-minded like us. So.
I mean, from my perspective, it's as I work in the Linux Foundation, we've seen over the last 2 years quite a bit of this sort of forks happening. But for me, it's really the first time that I see financial institutions, doing that. Yeah. And so it's again, I think, a big sign of maturity where we started.
We're excited for it.
What's your take on the formation of the Fluxnova community? I mean, is it something that you sort of, why not just launch this yourself, I guess?
Yeah. So when the vendor pivoted and decided not to support open source, we looked at it. We had a few options. We could create an internal project, maintain our own fork. We could try to publicly host a Fidelity sponsored project, or we could work with y'all and FINOS and create a neutral governed project. When we look at the option, internal projects, that's just not fun. A Fidelity hosted project, that was the least attractive to us. It was one that was a lot of work in it, but when a company, whether it's Fidelity or as we've seen with some of vendor sponsored open source projects, you set the rules. The rules favor you as the project sponsor, and it's really hard to entice companies to contribute to that, right? The real value of open source is the community and the contributions from the community, and that's a non-trivial effort. So if we really want to inspire companies to contribute and participate, I think a neutrally governed project is by far the best way to go. So that's the story behind it there.
I couldn't agree more, but admittedly I'm pretty biased. So, what do you think? I mean, looking forward, we talked a lot about ROI today, and I guess from your standpoint, what's the anticipated benefits that you see, by leveraging a neutrally governed project? How does it relate to sort of your broader open source strategy?
Yeah. So if I step back, so our overall technology strategy has evolved in the last 6 years or so to what I'll call an open source first strategy. Right? We've back in 2019, I was in a keynote at one of your sister foundations, KubeCon, talking about our plans to really participate more aggressively in open source, and we've seen great benefits from it. We really try to develop the organizational competence to really take open source, build large-scale, highly resilient enterprise platforms, and our container management platform built on open source Kubernetes. I believe, I'm sure I can get challenged on this, but I believe it's one of the largest Kubernetes deployments in financial services. And we run our critical retail trading applications on that. We had an enterprise API management platform using a very popular vendor package. We weren't thrilled with the way the vendor was taking that. So we built an enterprise API platform on Envoy. We've just had a really positive experience leveraging open source for enterprise scale. And this is another opportunity here with Fluxnova and what we're trying to do with the broader community. It's just we've seen great benefits just in the 5 or 6 years that we've been getting a lot more aggressive about open source. I do want to make one thing clear. Fidelity's technology legacy and our heritage, it's been built on tremendous partnerships with our vendors, and that will continue, but things change over time, right? And we need to control our destiny. So, we see that's a primary objective of our open source strategy. It's in our best interest, it's in the best interest of our customers to, really fully embrace open source.
Yeah, no, and obviously it's very exciting for me to hear sort of a enterprise-wide open source strategy and sort of vision like that. And I saw recently there was a case study also on OpenTofu. So clearly it was an interesting...
Another vendor pivot on us, yeah.
It was an interesting, again, a very mature approach to things though from financial institutions. And in the end, I completely agree with you. There is no, I think it's a false dualism, the idea of open source versus vendor. It's a combination. Yeah. So you see a lot of open core vendors in this room and beyond. And that's why we're thinking about Fluxnova also as a sort of an ecosystem itself that we can build on.
When you mentioned the certified network, it'd be great to have all our vendors partner with us on this and really.
Yeah, it's a two-pronged platform. Not everyone might be able to contribute or adopt directly, but you want to have someone that packages the product into products and services that actually procurement might say, where do I sign? That makes okay. Let me go a little bit more on the sort of biased questions.
You going off script?
No, just wondering. Given there are many alternatives out there, I think we talked about quite a bit of the role of foundations today and why you need a neutral governance host. Yeah. Why FINOS? And I guess how was your experience so far?
Well, the experience has been phenomenal, but why FINOS? So I want to start with you understand us, right? FINOS is geared towards financial services companies, but also backed by the full resources of the Linux Foundation. But pushing open source and pushing it through a fairly conservative financial services company in a regulated industry, there are challenges there that are, I won't say unique to financial services, but at least, amplified a bit. Yeah. And, you work very methodically and deliberately with us. It's been a phenomenal partnership. We've seen great value of it. And I know we were a silver member on one of the slides up there, but I'm happy to announce where I think we're platinum if you'll accept us.
Oh, it's a hard job, but someone has to do it. Thank you, Joe. That's great news. Woo! I'm checking on the signature as we go. No, but again, it's exciting for us. Besides the kind word, I know that the team and the community really works hard on.
Yeah, I would say.
On the quirks of financial services, if that makes sense. It's really, when we started a few years ago, yes. I was trying to throw the Apache way at financial services, and it didn't really stick, let's put it that way. But it's also great to have another buy-side representation on the board. I think having the more representation across the value chain.
Yeah. We're very excited about, thrilled with the partnership today, really excited about the future ahead. And, last year you were announcing if you if you're interested in BPM, give us a call. We see a couple other opportunities. We're not ready to
Yeah, I mean, every
talk
week.
about, but
Yes, every week it's been one of the most interesting. You guys saw my face on the become a member slide on the sales, call the salesman guy.
did we get the
It's been a very interesting one in terms of.
Are we going to get the 2018 figure?
Yes, well, not that one. That one, I don't think it would sell.
What year's that one?
To be honest. Talking about the future, one last question for you. Like, where do we go from here, Joe?
With respect to the project, I think we have a couple presentations coming up talking about, roadmap and the futures and the thoughts there. So, come see those presentations. You touched on some of it, right? Fidelity we prefer a self-hosted option, but that's not going to work for many. So how do we build a support system and whether it's consulting services or self-hosting services, like how do we build around this project a community where many can leverage? I think that's a big part of it. We see a lot of there's a lot of talk about FDC3. We see a lot of cross-pollination opportunities between Fluxnova and that project. So I just really super excited about it, and more to come.
I am very excited to see Fluxnova really becoming a potential glue for many of our projects. I think between FDC3, the controls that we have, I see hopefully a really bright future here. So
it was about a year ago. We were like, we really want to do this? Can we really do this? And culturally, things there's the Fidelity group sitting there in the front. We've pivoted a lot culturally, and it's really exciting to see what's ahead.
That's very exciting. I want to thank you again for spearheading
very much.
And thank all the other maintainers. And thanks for becoming a valued Platinum member. Put your money where your mouth is. Thank you, Joe.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Thank you.